Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be across this beautiful blue-green globe of ours. Welcome to Real News Live. This is a Monday morning news and Jentel day. I'm your host, Mike Barrett in Las Vegas, Nevada, joined as I always am by my lovely co-host, the lovely lady with the lustrous hair from Hayden, Idaho, Jennifer Falah. Doreen, Jen, how was your weekend? My Seahawks won, so I'm happy. How are you?
I knew you would be happy about that. I am good. I just did domestic things and worked in the house, in the yard, got some things accomplished. So, yeah.
If you don't know, Jen is very domestic. Okay, because of the new stupid, shitty setup on Restream, which I should probably dump for StreamYard, we have to wait for people to get here because people are just getting notifications that we've gone live. So it's going to take quite a while for everybody to build up. Jen, I was not impressed with my Seahawks performance yesterday. I don't think they're going to beat anybody good the way they played yesterday. So let's get them to be improved and be better. Let me hang on.
I'll put in a request. I think it's next game.
I'm sure that's on Jesus' priority list.
Yeah,
is the Seahawks.
No, I'm sure there's lots of guys praying for that.
Let's just say hi to everybody. Rumble being ridiculous. Looks like it's running okay to me. Ernest, Laura, Jennifer, Susan Jones,
Hi,
Batman
Susan.
saying everything is back on track. Well, let's hope that's correct, Batman. And,
Good.
And we always know what Batman's referring to. Mike and Jen and everyone in the chat. Hibby's on here. Baja Girl. Job Free. Lori Yoder's got a question. Caviar Dreams is here. I haven't seen you in a while from Hawaii, right? I always like how whatever guy you're with in that picture is cut off. Like, it looks like it's a great picture of you, but that's your ex or something. So that's pretty funny. I just want you to know, Jen, as we get into this, that I am on steroids right now. I took a prednisone moments ago. I should be getting extremely combative and intense. Actually, you know what happened is Dave Barrett had a dating app today, last night, and he put on this perfume or cologne or something, and it was so intense that I started to have an asthmatic reaction to it, like, and please, men, don't overdo the body spray. Don't overdo the cologne, guys. He smelled like a girl. It was just like, not okay. And then to top it all off, his date threw up on him. So, So
that's like a psychic thing. Like, I'm going to need a lot of perfume because this chick's going to throw up on me.
Yeah. Well, actually, maybe that was Jesus warning him. Hey, she didn't really throw up on him, but she got very sick during the date. It sounded like a kidney stone or a gallstone or something the way it came on. So hopefully,
she drink?
Huh?
Did she drink?
Yeah, she was drinking, but I don't think it was that. It sounds odd. Anyway, it's Dave's story to tell. So
how embarrassing! My God, for the girl.
Well, I know.
God,
we'll let him tell.
It's like the bad.
Yeah, Rumble doesn't notify you guys. Look, you guys aim unless you hear otherwise. Aim for about 5 after to come on to Rumble. It's usually when we start. We were late today, but that was Jen's fault. So,
yeah, put all kinds of stuff together. That's why.
Because Jen's in such a good mood for me to tease her right now too. I'll tell you what. I will try not to tease you the rest of the day.
I'm fine.
I'm fine. You're just gonna pay for it later,
Yes.
Does the name John Wayne Bobbitt mean anything to you, Mike Barrett?
No, yeah, that's a little extreme, but but you're learning, and that's good.
All right, kids. I have a couple stories. I want to talk about the podcast schedule is going to be a little different this week. We have today's show. We're not going to follow with anything else, but tomorrow, Toxically Masculine Tuesday is going to be an hour early. Brooks is not going to be there for the next 3 weeks because he's on a cruise with his fans, the Brooks Agnew cruise somewhere in the Caribbean, I think. And so what we're going to do, I believe, is we're going to do a live stream of the debate tomorrow night between Donald Trump and Consuelo Horace. And so we'll just be commenting on that. I'll see if, if they can all take the day off if they want. Steve can take the day off, Blake. But if there's more than just me available, if two people want to do it, we'll just show it on the live stream and we'll comment on it as it goes along. And we'll start an hour earlier at 5 Pacific, 8 Eastern. So that's an hour earlier than the Tuesday night show is normally done. Wednesday's the same. Thursday, Friday, I'm going to interview my friend Sean Kenny, who was scarred Captain Pike in Star Trek, the original Star Trek. This is a guy I watched when I was 6 years old, and I had a great lunch with him and everything, he and his wife. And they have a film project that they are financing, and so we're going to be talking about that, and we're going to talk about his life in Hollywood and the people that he knew, and he will tell all this. He told me some stories that he probably won't be able to tell you folks, but he knew a lot of people. He worked on all of the shows in the 60s and 70s, and the fact that he was involved with Star Trek is really quite extraordinary to me. It's Jen, it's like if you told my 12-year-old self that I would be on TV, people would listen to me, people would actually care about what I said, and I would meet all these people that I used to watch on TV when I was a little kid. If you'd have told 12-year-old me that, I would have said all my dreams have been fulfilled. Unfortunately, my 12-year-old dreams, I should have dreamed about being rich. So on that subject, because a lot of us would like to be rich and make a big difference for humanity. Sean's a good person. He's a humanitarian. He's a patriot. So along those lines, I have a couple of stories to tell that came to me over the weekend. And one of them is that these are both friend of a friend, but the friend is so reliable that I absolutely believe the stories because I know they're not lying to me. A lady went to the bank last week, went to get some cash out, was given the new cash by mistake by the teller. They was given the new notes. Manager came up and said, we can't, those aren't ready yet. So there was that story. And then here's the really cool one. A guy went in to get a bunch of quarters, and he was going through for whatever reason, maybe the laundromat, but one of the quarters was kind of a plug nickel, didn't look right. So he said, can you give me another one? So the teller opened her drawer. She was out of quarters. She went back and got some quarters, opened them up and gave him one. You know who was on the new quarter? Donald Trump.
Shut up.
On
That's
the quarter, and the manager came out and said, we can't give those out yet. And this is two different stories, two different branches.
Is this? I mean,
I don't know. And
he's really dropping the ball over there.
So Donald Trump is going to be on the new 25-cent piece. I'll bet there's silver in it too. I bet there's some silver in the new quarters. There has to be, I think, because it's at least a microgram or something. Anyway, so those two things happened.
Where'd you hear that?
It was a friend who told me that they had a friend that this had happened to just recently. So banks are ready. The banks get it. Banks know what's going on. But they're just it's not released yet. It's not quite ready. So those were a couple of interesting stories. And I was going to ask you... Now I've completely lost it. This is what happens to you when you reach middle age and you drink too much. Kids.
You should get some of those mushroom.
Yeah, the Enforced Clarity.
Yeah, because that would help with your memory.
Well, it's not like I have a bad memory, but it's not what it
I'm gonna
used
keep
to
doing
be.
Every time you have like a brain fart, I'm going to do that because you did that to me.
I don't care. I don't care about my memory as long as I can still get an erection.
TMI. Right? Nobody wants to know that. No one wants to hear about that.
Nobody wants to hear about okay, ladies over there. If there's anybody over there that wants to know about my erections, you let me know in the chat. Okay, thank you. All right, okay. All right. You guys are not here for me. I think we pretty much got everybody in that's going to come in probably today, Jen. So we'll switch over. Everybody's here to listen on Mondays to you and your Jentel. So. There's a couple things that I wanted to ask you about, but I'm going to let you, why don't you just do the whole thing and then we'll do the crosstalk and I'll ask you the questions then. How's that sound?
Okay, let's do that.
All right, here we go. This is Jentel for September 9th, 2024. Go.
Hi. All right. So I did quite a few things today. I have some thoughts over coffee. I'm going to go over that.
Can I put myself in the corner like this?
Yes, that's nice. Sporting me there. Yes, go ahead and be in the corner.
Oh, I thought you'd hate it.
Sit down and be quiet though, because Mama's got stuff.
I'm muting now. I'm going to mute my mic.
All right. Okay, first we're going to do thoughts over coffee. I had this morning. I put it out on Telegram, on Philosophy on Telegram. If you are not following Philosophy on Telegram, you're being left behind. You need to go do that. Thoughts over coffee for September 9th, 2024. As I looked across the landscape this morning, and I'm seeing, and I always describe it as puzzle pieces coming together, okay? I wrote, we received, and all of this and my thoughts and everything and the Jentel will be combined by our lovely Sue Rose, who does that for me for absolutely free. And you should all pray for her, and forevermore she gets anything she wants from me for free. She's a wonderful woman. Thank you, Sue. Thoughts over coffee, September 9th, 2024. We've received news. That's how I was putting things together. We received news that the other tiers have had movement and are close, if not there, for completion. We were told to watch Iraq all through this whole thing to revalue, and that would trigger other current countries to do so. Now the buzz is lately is focused on movement in Iraq. It looks to me that something happened to move into 4B, and Iraq has to move to trigger the exchange of the other currencies. I'd say we're in a good place to see that trigger very soon. But because of NDAs and lids on information, we have very little leaking, but within that trickle of information, we see movement, and it makes sense. And all the aspects, this is not written down, but we're starting to see all the aspects and all the pieces of Nasara and Jasara visible. Michael told us it would happen in the dark of night. And he also said that once this RV starts, you cannot stop it. Now, does that mean that when it starts with the bonds and with the groups and with all of it, you can't stop it? I think so. They can only delay. Now we watch for a street rate change in Iraq. That could be the scenario. I don't know how this is going to play out, but now we watch for a street rate change in Iraq, and that will trigger or unlock the bank screens, according to my understanding, and exchange screens. The bank screens will be higher than the street country rate, in-country Iraq street rate. The bank screen, behind the scenes bank screens will be higher rate than that. The exchange screens will be higher than the back screens at the bank. These are the things that we know. Could we be waiting on political changes? That is possible. That is possible. But it looks like all the ducks are lining up in a row to move forward. Now we watch and see how this thing rolls out. Also, one thing I saw, we've got Cash Patel out there saying some things. And when Cash Patel talks, you should listen. Now, Cash Patel is telling us what the enemy is going to try to do here in the USA. And I told you a few Gentels back that that is one of their plays that they will attempt to do, is put Kamala in office before the election, because they have no chance of winning without stealing it. And if something's preventing them from stealing it, they can either put him in jail, kill him off, or get her in. And now Cash Patel's coming out saying they're going to try and do this. Not that they will succeed in doing this, but they're going to try. The dark side is running out of options. The other tiers have money in accounts waiting for release. All eyes are on Iraq. All eyes are on Iraq for a new rate. Yellen was supposed to have cooperated and signed something to make the money held in accounts in notes a legitimate legal tender. So that behind the scenes and in your treasury accounts, that money, the bank can exchange those notes because something was signed so that you could transfer some over your 1% or whatever into fiat, into dollars. We received word that that did happen. We've also received word that that didn't happen. And then we received word that everything's cool. So, not quite sure. I'm leaning towards something happened. Because if we're seeing movement in Iraq now, something happened. All right. I say we're on our way. Things should really get turbulent from the dark side. Okay, the dark side's tactics to try and delay or stop this or regain power in some way, shape, or form. Be on the lookout for that. All they can do is delay because it has started. And it appears that the tables have turned and the white hats are playing offense while the black hats are playing defense now. And in recent history, it was the other way around. We're dealing with a ruthless enemy. So we need to be on the lookout for any kind of terrorist activity. Be aware of your surroundings. I have no idea what's coming, but it's only logical that that is something that we will try. Okay? These are my thoughts, putting pieces together. Now, I went into meditation. I got some Jentel. I asked the angels. Archangel Michael spoke the whole time. This is interdimensional meditation in the field in front of my tree in heaven for September 9th, 2024. RV news. Interesting. I put this out. I never know if it's going to make any sense. God willing, we get Jentel confirmations. You got to be brave to do this. And side note, everybody in the truther community that you're listening to is doing their best to put the pieces together and give you information so that you can keep going. So if you're out there bashing somebody because it didn't happen the way you want it or when you want it, you need to sit down and let the adults take care of business, okay? Because we don't need that right now. Anyway, Michael says there will be intel today about a desired destination. He gave me this word by word, so it doesn't really make sense to me, but there will be intel today about a desired destination to reach for rate change. There will be intel today about a desired destination to reach for rate change. I said, in Iraq? He said, yes, and other countries. And then he went on and said the U.S. Treasury has agreed to help Iraq revalue, and this was one word at a time I asked for, so I didn't screw it up. Help Iraq revalue its currency by reinstating an old condition that makes it possible. I don't know what that means. You guys put it together. He said, yes. I said, in Iraq, he said, yes, in other countries, the U.S. Treasury has agreed to help Iraq revalue its currency by reinstating an old condition that makes it possible. Before that, he was talking about a desired destination. Keep that in the back of your mind. Just figure out what that means. Then I was like, what? I look at him like, what? I don't understand that. And he went on. He said, old rate, but altered to meet current economic conditions. And I put another question mark. What? He said, it's a missing piece needed for the transition. That is happening now. So we're moving. Okay, coming in the news. I really tried to see this with some of it. Some of it's bullet points I heard. Coming in the news could be after the show, and it could be a month from now. What he said and the way that he said it makes me believe that this is more like It wasn't like this Thursday. It could be this Thursday. Excuse me, but I'm not sure which Thursday it is. His markets crash at 9 on Thursday, is what he said. Then I heard gold standard. I believe that comes right after that. Not sure. Then I said, okay, show me something. Let me see it. What's coming next? Give me something, because I actually do the coming in the news so that we can get Jentel confirmation so that you and I can feel more confident what I got in the RV news. Okay. It's all about confirmations, people. So I said, let's show me. And so I saw a person standing on what looked like a beach, looking out into the water, waiting, and he just put shipment in my mind again. Waiting for a shipment, waiting for something. He's welcoming or something, a person, something is coming ashore. Okay. I don't know what that means, but I think we're going to see something about that. I don't know if it's like illegals coming ashore. That's not really big, but maybe it makes mainstream news. I don't know. Somebody gets caught doing something. I don't know, but it was something coming ashore. A person stands on the shore to meet it or them. And he kept saying shipments. Okay. Last bullet point. He said, micro, I don't think it was macro. I really think it was an I. I think it was micro markets. No idea what that is. No idea. But I know there's some of you out there are very smart and you will probably figure out what that is. Or if we start seeing news coming that's got that word in it, don't think it was macro. I think it was micro markets is what he said. So we've got all kinds of bits and pieces, and this is the time where we start putting things together. You need to push away from doubt. We were told last week in the Jentel that groups would get news. They did last week. And then we would have a few days of quiet. And we just went through that, and everybody panics, okay? And I've got people from large groups saying, everybody's getting angry. Everybody's getting scared. Do you have anything? I'm like, give them this. Give them that. Remind them that we were going to go through this period of quiet. Okay, we knew that was coming. Now I'm starting to see movement again. Now I'm starting to see pieces come together. So everybody needs to look at it in that way. Like, all right, we're building something here and we are moving forward and we're on our way. I don't know what to tell you. Do not lose hope. And that's the Jentel for today.
Okay. Well, I have some thoughts.
Okay, good.
About all this.
I love it when you tell me something that I don't think makes any sense makes sense.
Well, okay. Yellen signed something. We saw that 10 days ago, a week ago Thursday. She signed at 4:30 in the morning. Things were sent out by courier. That was...
Wait. I know that we had Jentel for that.
Mm-hmm.
I know we had intel for that, but the confirmation of that has 4 a.m.
That's what you said. 4 a.m. this morning, Janet Yellen signed. Somebody with gray hair, who we determined was Yellen.
Okay, that was me. Okay.
It's not necessarily
something else like documented that happened. I'm like,
and then they were shipped by courier to the other countries. That was signing off. Yes. That was the U.S. Treasury working with Iraq, because she is the representative of the U.S. Treasury, and to help them go back to a situation they were in before. That's what you said today, right? Okay, so what that is that Iraq has been in international bankruptcy since the fall of Saddam and the reinstatement of the new Iraqi government. That's called Chapter 7 bankruptcy. When they move to Chapter 8, they are out of bankruptcy. When they are out of bankruptcy, guess what they can do? They can reinstate the Iraqi dinar back to its old rate. And they are allowed to modify the rate to account for inflation. So it will be back to $3.22, which would make all of us here rich, not very rich, but rich enough, make us multimillionaires. If you have $1 million dinar, you're going to get 3,220,000 plus the inflation rate. So when you heard all that stuff about they will go back to where they were before, and the Treasury is assisting in this, that's what it's talking about. That's it.
You know what I love about that? That's not even what I was thinking about. And so it's not like I knew that and then I went and, made all this crap up so that it makes sense. No, that's totally awesome, because if that is actually that, and I got it in completely different wording from the divine, one word at a time. I need to do the one word at a time thing more often. That's what's happening.
And we will also probably remove our troops at that point from.
No, I did have a thought in Thoughts Over Coffee when I was putting these pieces together. Take a look at what's happening with the removal of troops. Take a look what's happening with the wars and everything. Is it all winding up to an end?
It is.
Isn't that a coincidence?
So I think that's the biggest piece of what we're looking for here. The crash at 9 a.m. Thursday. Okay, there you are. 9 a.m. on Thursday. It's happening. The micro markets, could that be cryptocurrencies?
I don't know what micro markets are.
Yeah, all these little things. Maybe somebody else knows in the chat. We'll see.
But maybe when they told me, it did feel like smaller things that we don't always look at. And I felt like they were important somehow. But I don't really... You guys are going to have to put that together. But that is freaking cool. I mean...
Interesting.
The U.S. Treasury has agreed to help Iraq revalue its currency. So we got Yellen. Okay, confirmation on that. To help Iraq revalue its currency by reinstating an old condition that makes it possible. Old rate, but altered to meet current economic conditions. It's a missing piece needed for the transition. So
yes,
they could not revalue until such time as this woman
released them.
This is happening.
Yep, that's it.
And this is happening.
And that's what's happening.
Now, I don't know the timeline on how this is going
or whether we'll get an announcement or they'll just do it, Iraq will just announce it, or, we don't know. We don't know. But that once they have that's a public thing. So the question is, are we going to exchange before that comes out in public?
I don't know. I think all we need is that paperwork signed, because the way it was explained to me is that we're exchanging calculated in U.S. fiat dollars, but when you put it into the Treasury, it has to be in notes. It has to be real money because of everything where we're going with this. And then for the eventual rollout after that, because the whole point in pulling back the instruments of debt is to go to solid money. And so we're not going to put fake money in the Treasury. We're going to put notes. All right. And so that's what I think the whole 1% is.
Right.
Is, okay, so we will back up as long as there's something signed saying, and you can't move that money until there's something signed saying this is legal tender too.
Yeah. Remember
behind the scenes.
Last week's Jentel or the Jentel before, you got cross transactions, cross-platform transactions. That's what that is. That's the paperwork allowing the fiat and the gold to exist side by side and for money to be exchanged back and forth. That's what that
totally cool. This is getting fun.
That's what you got.
This is a little mystery we're putting together here. It's kind of so and you can see why the news, the intel is very slim. We're getting some of it, and then I think along the way we're getting some misinformation. Maybe if a leak came out and people know that we shouldn't know that. Oh, tell them it's not true. All right. But this is something that needs to happen at this point in time. Like the bonds, everybody up until that point, they got money in account. And everybody's like, well, we're waiting to get it. They're telling us tomorrow. They're telling us next week. They're telling us Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, blah, blah, blah. But until such time as this woman signs this paper for the U.S. gold-backed currency to be recognized by the government behind the scenes in the U.S. Treasury as legitimate currency that we're moving into. Let me start stories. Like, I'm not really on board with the stories from this morning, but I mean, that's a major mishap to have gold-backed currency in the drawer.
Right.
And why is that even unlocked? But
well, I mean, those are stories, but I believe my friend is telling me the truth about what he heard from the people that experienced it.
And it could have been a fabricated story to say, hey, I work in a bank. It's here. I mean, we could be receiving at this point. It's such, everybody's so tight-lipped that we really have to take each piece of this puzzle into consideration as it comes and read between the lines like we did with the Q post and everything else.
To me, the signature to allow the money to go from Swift to the gold-backed system, hi Barkley, to allow those that's how we get our 1%, and that's how that is a final step for this thing to go.
And then I feel like got to do this. So even if they post an in-country rate, I don't know if they can do that without having it all over the place. Everybody, so what they don't want is everybody to rush to the banks and exchange their dinar on the bank level.
Yeah.
So we may see that happened in Iraq, and we can't do that here in the bank if you go in. So they're holding back to do it a certain way because that's not good for the designated exchange centers.
Right. It's not good for the exchange centers. And remember, the more money they get in the hands of people, the more economic activity there is, the more we can rescue this planet and this country from the disaster that we're in. So, and everybody's
defeat the enemy. A long time ago, we can't defeat the enemy from Jesus without taking their power. What is their power? Their money, because that's how they control the world.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to get this done. Then we move into the political changes. Then we move into every aspect of our society with the medical and the pharmaceutical and the schooling and the insurances and everything else. That's going to be a long rollout. That's a lot of work to do, like 5 years, something like that.
Oh, but longer than that. And then I think eventually we get to the truth about aliens and all that stuff. But I think that's 5, 6, 7 years down the road.
Well, you're really going to have to roll that one out when people are in a better place.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What grandma with a heart condition who took like 4 vaccines sitting at home. That's why that's the whole EBS throw it in your face kind of situation.
Mm-hmm.
I doubt, because if we've been, we've treated this thing with kid gloves so far with the public and pretty much kept everybody in the dark, then you're going to go throw it in their face when they haven't gotten into the med beds and they could just like have a cardiac arrest right there. Like, what is this, War of the Worlds kind of thing?
Yeah.
Look at when they broadcast that. What was it, the 30s or something, over the radio, the War of the Worlds?
Mm-hmm. 1939. Yeah.
And they had to come out and say, no.
Oh, it was a test. I've written about it in Dark Mission, one of the books that's not on my bookshelf back there. Yeah, it was a test. It was all run by Princeton University as a psychological warfare evaluation. And that's where it came from. And they hired Orson Welles to do it. And,
Really?
I mean, yeah. Oh, yeah. There's information to that effect in the background. And it's interesting because that was used as an excuse for decades afterwards for NASA to justify secrecy about what they found on the moon and on Mars and everywhere else. So very interesting stuff.
That is interesting.
It is, yeah.
So I think if we get an EBS situation, it's basically going to tell you, like when the government gets the changeover of government. Listen, we've got the situation. Don't worry. Everything is fine. Stay in your areas. Wait for information. But like the rollout of all the terrible things that everybody has done would probably come after, and you'd probably have a choice.
And they're not going to tell us all of it.
No, you'll never know everything.
No. Which is too bad, because I think the world deserves eventually to know everything.
I think that the information of everything, or most of everything, will be available, like declassifying things and putting it out there later on, that you could find it legitimate information. But here's the thing.
It will have to be somebody like a historian or scholar that's, comes up with some theory about why Stalin invaded Japan at the end. In other words, it'll be a scholarly thing like that, right? And people will debate it, whether it's true.
Yeah. Well, let's just take a look at it in this situation. So, like, you've got an undercover cop who's going to go into a drug ring and he's going to live with them for like 6 months, gain their trust, and then bust the ring, right? They're not going to tell you everything the dude did to gain their trust.
Right.
They're going to tell you he dressed like them, he lived with them, he befriended them, and he busted the ring, and that's all you're going to know. But you're not going to know everything this guy did, or whether he's got a drug problem now, or whatever. Okay?
Right.
He killed anybody. You're not going to know that.
Okay, so the last thing is the coming ashore. Okay, I know what that is.
You do?
Yes, it's Godzilla. I'm kidding. I have no idea what it is.
That would be awesome. Actually, that'd be pretty good TV.
I had you. I got you on that one. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if it's the storm,
but you said they're waiting for a shipment, though, so it's pretty wild. Shipment.
I kept saying shipment, but it didn't line up with what I was seeing. I trying to look at the shore in the
maybe
water.
A shipment of gold from overseas, maybe some of the Philippines.
I don't know.
Dragon gold. I don't know.
I don't know if that one's a wash, but I saw that. There's a guy, he's walking up, he's looking like something's coming at him. And wow. I kept hearing shipment, something coming ashore. A person stands on the shore to meet it or them. And then right after that, micro markets. Now, this Thursday thing, I don't know what Thursday. If it's this Thursday, that'd be cool. Okay. Not sure.
Yeah, you're right. And here's the thing. Do we exchange before the markets collapse? Let's go quick.
That's what I can't get. That's why,
Okay, you don't know. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. They're not telling you don't know. That's fine. You're allowed to not know.
What I saw, the dollar has to maintain. This is what I think. The dollar has to maintain. It gets locked in a value. They come in with their revalued currency. There's our RV window. The dollar is lower, but it's at the point. Wait a minute. Destination, maybe. Where it needs to be so that we can do this. And I always thought we did this. We get it done behind the scenes. And then boom. Public revalue for the other countries. Everything of ours drops in the toilet. All kinds of panic and upheaval. And then we come on, and then, probably along the way, we got some political bad behavior going on, and they're trying to do something, and it all snowballs at once. We, probably at that point get EBS, and they tell us, hey, we're going into a transitional government, and we're going to go to gold.
Second question. Do we exchange before the EBS?
I saw that was.
I think so. All right. Okay. One last question, real quick. Does Harris show up for the debate tomorrow night, or does she come down with COVID or something in between now and then?
I hear she shows up, but I want to see it. Yeah, it's all freaking planned. She's got a wire.
She's gonna have a wire to give her the answers.
Yeah, she's totally got something.
Well, she get here. You said she gets pushed out of the race when something really embarrassing gets exposed. Is there any chance that her wearing a wire is going to be exposed about tomorrow night? Is that it? Maybe. Would you do?
No, but at this point in time, she is scheduled to attend. And they have it all worked out where she's going to be wired. She's just going to be a parrot. The moderators of the debate know what they're supposed to ask. It's going to be the same crap where they cut him off and all this other stuff. This should be fun. Unless something. When is it? Tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 Pacific.
I don't know if they can finagle in some kind of massive catastrophe to stop the debate, just for her not to debate. But I do see her being told what to say.
You know, I'm just so tired of all this cheating. I just wish somebody would just expose it. Oh, she was wearing a wire. Her answers
just like falls off right on the podium. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be funny because then something like that. Let's do that. Here's the thought. Maybe the shipment is troops coming back to the USA from overseas, like Iraq. Could that be it? Symbolically?
It felt like something nefarious.
Oh, okay. So
it felt like somebody gets caught with some big shipment or something like that. I don't really know.
Okay.
It wasn't about. It was in the coming in the news, so it could be something minor. It could just be something we hear. The coming in the news section, like I said, is for us. Some of it's very important. Some of it's not. It's just something that we'll see, and it's supposed to give you confirmation so that you'll have faith in the other stuff, and I'll have faith in the other stuff. So it's like, send me confirmations. So much of this is unseen. That's why.
All right. About 1,600 people in the live stream today. That is pretty close to a record. That's a really good one. We're going to move on now to questions. Keep in mind that the questions, we need to know your real name so Jen can connect with you, and the name of the person or the pet you might be asking about. That is very helpful for Jen to get all of her connections made. And also, guys, please follow us over on Rumble at the channel Real News Live with Mike and Jen. If you're a subscriber to Real News Live, that's not the same. That's an account. It's not a channel. Find the channel Real News Live with Mike and Jen and follow us there. You can also subscribe for what is it, Jen? $5 a month. It's the best way to help.
$5. You could throw us a $5.
Throw us a $5, and we appreciate that. And it really helps everything over there. There's a little subscribe button at the bottom. I guess I have to take the banner off, but right above where the banner is running, it says subscribe. You just click on that. $5 a month and make us all really happy. Okay. Also, would like to let you guys know, I thought for a while that looked like Mike Bear 2 or Mike Bear 3 had been taken down or suspended. Turns out that's not the case today, Jen. I misread that. But you can always find the show over on mikebara.blogspot.com, where you can also pick up other shows that we've done in the last couple of weeks, lectures I've given, like at the New Living Expo, links to my books, links to articles I've written, videos I've made about the Calvine UFO photo, which is, I'm sorry to say, Nick Pope, the tip of Farragon Hill in Scotland. My interview with Marina Sarin. Oh, okay. So something going on. Apparently, I've disabled myself. And don't forget, October 17th through 2024 here in Las Vegas at the Alexis Park Resort, I will be speaking. There's going to be a form of medbed you can try out, an electronic frequency kind of thing, which is supposed to be really cool. All at the Alexis Park Resort, October 17th through the 20th. Also, please do not forget to visit our wonderful sponsors, the CBD Gurus, over at thecbdgurus.com, where you can pick up all kinds of wonderful cannabis-based products for your health. Slide on over to the wholesale tab, slide down to Mike B Wholesale, type in the discount code ALIEN, and pick up this week's specials. We got a Trump t-shirt out there. You're also going to get some Bolivar. Orders over $100, for instance, receives a 40 million Bolivar. So that's worth, it's worth having. You get yourself a little extra currency there. This week's specials are the Delta 8 gummies, the regular gummies, the Miracle Gold, the mushroom coffee, which is really popular, the lion's mane, the 5-matrix mushroom, the turkey tail, the immunity booster, all kinds of super cool stuff, including the Make America Great Again ladies pajama bottoms. I personally want the pajama bottoms back with my face and Mark Z's face and the aliens on it. But Matt and Lucas have chosen to not include that anymore. But that's the CBDgurus.com. Also, please, you can pick up all kinds of cool supplements for your little pets over at MikeBarrettPets.com. And you get yourself in touch with Diana over there from Boulder City, Diana Musgrave at MikeBarrettPets@gmail.com. She can answer any questions you might have about the health of your pets. She's a certified pet nutritionist. These are wonderful products. They're all mushroom-based, based on the Coriolus versicolor and the reishi mushrooms. There's products for dogs, for cats, for horses, and for human beings, like the Enforce Restore for your organs, the Enforce Plus with reishi, the Coriolus versicolor. These are all immune system boosters, and the Enforce Clarity, which helps you sleep and also boost your thought processes so Mike can remember stuff. I got to get back to taking that. MikeBarrettPets.com. I got Barkley on the mojos and the mush puppies, and he runs around like a little maniac, even though he's 11 years old. Also, don't forget, you can pick up your own crypto wallet, the Ledger Nano or Ledger Nano S Plus, over at ledger.com. There's a link in the description. This is what I use for all my cryptocurrency. And if you buy a wallet, and only if you're thinking about a hardware wallet, if you buy one, I get $10 in free Bitcoin. You get $10 in free Bitcoin. Everybody wins. Also, please, if you are going to pick up any silver or gold, do so over at milesfranklin.com. I don't have anything set up with them yet. There's no affiliate thing or no discount code. Just make sure when you place the order, just let them know you heard about their company from Mike Barra. That is our friend Andy Scheckman, who runs Miles Franklin, a man of great integrity. So if you're going to buy gold or silver, you should absolutely not do it at Phil Silver. You should pick it up at Miles Franklin and make yourself happy. And one last thing, please do not forget that you can pick up Impact Health and among many other products at the ACN family of companies. If you just go to this link, I'm going to put it in the chat here in a second. You can get a special discount on your health insurance. It's a health sharing process. It is a wonderful company. They do a great job. I've gotten a few people signed up. You can also sign up to become a business owner yourself and go out and get customers. They've got Zoom for energy, for gas and electricity, security, internet service, mobile service. I got to go in and check if I can save any money on my AT&T bill, and the ID theft protection, DirecTV, Dish. It's lots of cool stuff, but I'll put the link in the description. And if you are interested in Impact Health Sharing as a replacement, not a supplement, a complete replacement of your health insurance for 1/3 the cost, pick it up because they're good people. Now, Jen, Jen?
You were frozen for me.
Okay. Well, why don't you tell us what's going on over at JenniferFallah.com?
Well, if you'd like a healing, if you'd like to take my classes, if you would like a reading with me, a reading with Susan Gretz, or cleansing services for Marcy Howell, you can go to JenniferFallah.com. With everything on JenniferFallah.com, these are suggested donations. And if you cannot afford a service, you can email me and let me know about it. Just for me. Okay. And Marcy, they're just listed on my site because they're my girls. All right. Go to JenniferFallah.com. Come and talk to me. We'll work through it. Get a healing. Take the classes. The classes sale is over. There is a handful of people I made a deal with that could get it at the half off price because they couldn't do it in time. I will still honor that for them if you made it with me. And I'm always willing to make deals with people. So like if you say, hey, I'd really like a half an hour reading, but I can't really afford that. Can you take $20 off? Yeah, why not? Because I do what I want, and that's why. Okay, so go to JenniferFallah.com. and email me afterwards. Email Susan afterwards if you purchase with her. Email Marcy afterwards. All correspondence needs to come through the email, so I have a feed of what we're doing and what we did and a communication with you. It's really nice if you guys keep replying to the same email. Communicate. So That's all I have for today. I'll think of some kind of sale. You guys could give me an idea of what you'd like to see on sale next, and I'll work something up for this week. Okay?
All right. So that is what is going on over at jenniferfala.com. Okay, guys, I put the link to ACN front page, my front page, and where you can go look at Impact Healthcare if you'd like to get a quote. And if you want to talk to somebody, I can arrange that too. So let me know. It's right there in the chat. All right, Jen, we're going to slide over to Rumble to start with. The folks over in Rumble get to ask our questions first because they give us a $5 a month subscription. So we're going to go with those folks first, and then we're going to get on to the rest of the questions. We do have enough time today, I think, to get to most of the questions. So let's do a little share.
Christine Packard would put up a definition of a micro market when she's talking about a supermarket. I don't really think it was that. I think we're talking about like markets, like money.
All right. So let's make sure we got this shared. We do. All right. Let's start with Frederica. She gives us a $5 Rumble rant. We appreciate that, Frederica. If I'm buying a house for my mom, Yolanda, will she be happier in England or Zimbabwe, where we are from?
England.
Okay. Zimbabwe's going to be rich, but England. Okay. Christina Thompson, Little Red Castle, $5 a month subscriber, says, I've been looking at land for sale across the UD. I made a list of my top 9. Which number on the list do you see me happiest at? So she wants you to look at her list and just give her the number.
Name again?
I'm sorry, what?
What was her name again?
Christina with a K.
Three or four.
Okay, David Murtos, Little Red Castle, $5 a month subscriber, says, hi, Jen. My son Ryan, who's 9, has really put on weight the last 2 years. Will he grow out of it, or do I need to really start to change his diet?
You take him off of wheat, for one. Genetically modified food. He cannot tolerate it.
Take him off of wheat.
His system's changed. He's going to start going into like pre-puberty now. Everything's changing in there, and he cannot tolerate. Not like he's going to have a terrible reaction, but if you're talking about weight gain, we really need to get him up and get him more active. We need to get more fluids flowing through the body, and we need to get rid of the genetically modified starches in there and sugar. So cut that back as much as you can. You know what I just did is somebody suggested that I buy flour for the baking season this year from France. It's non-GMO and organic that they've outlawed it in their country. So I just got some. I'm excited. I think I might be able to eat it without having stomach problems and getting all bloated and stuff. So I'm excited about that.
That would be nice. Raven Mays, hi, Mary. I'm sorry, I don't have your question about your golden doodle Molly in here. I don't think it's possible that with Rumble that we've lost the earlier chat, that it's disappeared. So resubmit your question, and I'll try to get to Jen right away. Cool, Raul, Little Red Castle, $5 a month subscriber. We had a long news segment today because we had a lot to talk about. Cool, Raul says, good morning, Mike and Jen. This is Raul with a question. My lady friend Marcia's mother, Sherry, has been unhappy for some time. We know that she's not happy. Can you see what's going on with her? Sherry, what's going on with Sherry?
Is it Sherry or Marcia?
Well, it's Marcia's mother, Sherry, is unhappy.
Okay.
Can we see why she's unhappy?
Jump. All right. She's lonely. And she's bored. And she thinks she's old.
Lonely and bored, and
things don't work as well as they used to, and she's no fun in the future. Give her some fun.
Yep. Give her some fun. Melanie, Little Red Castle, $5 a month subscriber, says, my divorce is sad because I still love him. He says he wants to reconcile. I don't know if I can trust him. Does Jesus say I'd be happier with or without John? So this is Melanie asking about whether she'd be happier with or without John.
Well, Yeah, see, Jesus. He said the transition is underway. You may, and you could, and you probably will try again, but it's going to come to the same result because both of you are more afraid of the change and the perceived failure than losing each other.
Ah.
So you're working through all the stages of this grief that comes around an ending of a relationship, and it starts to get really hard, and both of them are like, yeah, this I don't like this is hard now, this is difficult and complicated, let's just get back together. And then you get back together and you try, but it's really not there anymore, and you end up breaking up anyway. So it's up to you whether you want to go back in that circle again, or you just want to continue on. And
Yeah.
what Jesus is really suggesting is that you continue on, um
The path you've already started, it sounds
for
like.
your happiness.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's usually something I don't get from Jesus, because he's always suggesting, reconciliation of the marriage and all that. He says it's spent.
Okay. Boy, it's exact opposite of my divorce. Couldn't wait to get it over with. Hi Jen, this is Carissa, Little Red Castle, $5 a month subscriber. When do you see my family getting our Australian puppy? And would I be happier keeping him unvaccinated or vaccinating him? So Carissa's getting an Aussie Shepherd.
Well, you actually get two, and I don't know which one is coming first. Like, I'm getting a March. Okay, that might be the second. Not sure if that's the second or the first. The timeline exactly when you get that, little confused. I do feel like the other one possibly could be coming within like 4 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that. Vaccination, of course, is completely up to you. There are the couple serious ones you could get, that have been around for a lot, like rabies. It'd probably be okay. Yeah, that's your call on that.
I will say this, Carissa. I hope you're prepared because Aussies are whip smart and a little bit active. Okay, I hope you're ready to toss the ball or the gator toy 50,000 times a day because they have energy like you would
not a problem. She got 3 kids and a big yard.
Okay.
Dog will tire himself
out. Christy, Little Red Castle, $5 month subscriber, would like to know if the close encounter experience that she had in Joshua Tree was her guardian angels or something else.
I would have to hear the encounter so I could tune in. Let me tune into that moment in time and see if I can. What do we got on the name? Do we have
Christy?
I need an energetic location, yeah.
And Joshua Tree.
Christine.
Christina. Christy.
I don't have any kind of time period.
I don't have a time period.
No. That's a trip. I got Earth Spirit. I got Elemental. I don't know what you saw, but I want to hear about it.
Okay. Guys, if I don't get your name, I got him. Do you know who Rainbow 13 is, Jen?
No.
You know who that is? Okay. Got to move past because I don't have the question.
Depends on the question. I can ask Gabriel. He knows who you are.
Okay.
But for me to like tune into you and then somebody else and then some path.
Okay. She's Little Red Castle, $5 a month subscriber. She wants to know if the working in a medbed center as a healer will be something she'll be doing, or will she be teaching about medbeds? Rainbow 13 wants to know that.
You work at like a transitionary place in there. So like they come in like with the office work, and then I think you're preparing somebody to go in there. So there's a stage where you get prepared, and all that. You're educating the person on what's going to happen, what to expect, that kind of thing.
Okay. Laura Rosenwald, Little Red Castle, $5 a month subscriber, would like to know what her guardian angel's name is. Laura Rosenwald.
Wants to be called Jim.
Jim. Okay.
It's probably James or something. Very nice. So what I have to do here is I got the first and the last time. Laura Rosen. I call in primary garden angel, step forward, and then I try to see him, and then I try to hear him, and then I get a name, and he just smiled and looked down at me and said, Jim.
Okay, that was firm. That was firm. Lori Bakemeyer, Little Red Castle, $5 a month subscriber, says her husband Cliff has been having dizzy spells. Can you see what's going on with Cliff?
Really got a lot of sinus congestion. I am a little concerned about some cardiovascular connections. So you need to take the blood pressure, and if you get anything else on that, any fainting spells, go in. But I do think that I think the blood pressure might be a little bit high. And then I think we've got some sinus congestion and also in the ears that are throwing your equilibrium off, So two things.
Danae, Little Red Castle, $5 a month subscriber, says we lost our sweet pup Missy on Thursday night. I'm very sorry to hear that, and it was rough. I bet it was. Danae wants to know how she is and whether she had her best friend Oliver there to greet her on the other side. I'm sure she did.
Okay, Michael. So I see somebody now crouching over the animal. I see a man and a couple others walk in, and we've got short things running around behind. They came and got that dog. And I feel like a connection to whoever was there. A divine connection. Possibly, it's really fatherly. Father or grandfather.
Okay. Rosie, yes, you will be able to get a med bed appointment. Don't worry about that. Some people don't like me talking about erections. Erection. It's a fact of life. Okay. But Lori says your hair looks amazing, Jen.
Well, thank you. I watched
Very
it.
nice. Yeah. Okay. Dixie Diane is now a monthly supporter. She gets her Little Red Castle. Yay. And Freedom Liberty Lover is now a Little Red Castle subscriber. Love Trumpy. What about microfinance? Microfinance is a term used to describe a suite of financial services made available to individuals, entrepreneurs, and small businesses who don't have access to traditional banks. I did not know that. Joanne QAnon says a micro market is an unmanned market where people can purchase goods and fresh foods, which are restocked regularly. Okay. All right, Dixie Diane, your first question, Little Red Castle. Hi, Mike and Jen. My dog's name is Kimber. Her health is now declining. My hope is for the last 2 years has been that she would be in a med bed. Will she make it? This is Diane would like to know about her doggy, Kimber. Will Kimber make it to the pet med beds?
Well, she's not ready to go now, but no. It's going to be a little while for that. It's going to be at least 2 years after the rollout until they start getting something for pets.
I mean, they have to cure all the people first before.
Well, you have to understand that these med beds are calibrated to to human DNA. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're going to have to come up with a model. And look at how many species there are of animals.
Melanie said, Little Red Castle, $5 a month subscriber, says, divorce is sad because I love him, but he is a mean alcoholic. He says he wants to reconcile. Does Jesus say to be happier and healthier without a husband? Is this the same?
It is, and that makes more sense because of the alcoholic part now, because I usually don't hear Jesus encourage people to break up unless there's abuse, unless there's misery, unless it's an important part of your past because it leads to somebody's recovery or leads to somebody doing something else, parting ways. The advice on that was that you should keep going, and I can see why he wants to get back together because he sees that you want to get back together, and he doesn't want to get sober. So I think what you're being told here is to stick to your guns, and it's probably in his best interest.
Yeah. Melanie, alcohol makes you more of what you already are. And so unless he gets sober, I wouldn't. If I was your friend, I wouldn't let you get back to with him. Okay.
Oh, it's like hardcore alcoholics. There was the part of my dad, and I know a lot about this from him and his alcoholism, and then getting sober and being sober and counseling people for 25 years. There was those parts of dad. He was the opposite. He was happy-go-lucky, funny, skinny guy, MacGyver guy. Everybody's best friend. And then when he would drink, he was like, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. He was mean and belligerent and all this stuff. But when he got sober, I got those good pieces of him back. And that's who I got to spend the rest of that time with.
Yeah.
So
Elizabeth Garr is now a monthly supporter. Thank you, Elizabeth. $5 a month. We appreciate that. Debbie G here. Will my husband pay and get the fence done before the end of the year for my dog? We have bears and mountain lions here. So Debbie wants to know if her husband's going to get off his butt. And
he's going to drag his feet for a few more weeks, but then I think he kicks it into gear. Yeah.
Finish the fence. Tell him he's not. Tell him he won't see you naked again until he gets that fence done. Kathy W here, Little Red Castle, $5 a month subscriber. Is my brother Ron Sr., who passed back in 2015, doing okay in heaven? And has he connected with our mom, June, who passed in 2018?
He is connected with her. They spent quite a bit of time together.
Ron Davidoff, friend of the show. We love you, Ron. Will the depression and feeling go away soon? Yeah, Ron, come to Vegas. I'll show you around. We'll have a great time. Ron wants to know if the depression he's feeling will go away soon. There's no reason for you to be depressed, buddy. You have friends that love you. Come to Vegas and I'll show you around and we'll have a great time.
Yeah, Ron, I have a feeling about what you're talking about, and you're going to see a big reversal of that probably about Friday.
Michelle, Little Red Castle, would like to know, will my adult kids, Dominique and Jordan, receive the truth disclosure or will they reject the truth? Interesting.
To them, it will show up as new information. And then they'll be accepted little by little over time and become normal. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Christy, Little Red Castle, $5 a month subscriber says, can you tell me if I should be looking for another job, one that's a little less stressful, or should I just sit tight? It's getting harder to be here. Thanks so much. That's Christy with a K, Kristi.
Gabriel just said breathing exercises are helpful, but no, don't leave your job. If you do that right now, it's going to be a big problem until such time as this financial transition takes place. So,
okay.
He says it's just a bad day. It's just a bad week. Breathe through it.
Maria, Little Red Castle, $5 a month subscriber says, I'm having problems with two of my molars and occasionally get a small blister inside the roof of my mouth. Can you see what it is? Dennis doesn't see an issue, but I'm concerned. Maria.
Yeah, I'm inside your mouth right now and I'm looking around. It's like
get out of her mouth, Jen.
The blister. You just really have really sensitive skin up there, so you're gonna have to be careful when you're eating things or something's too hot. I really feel like those are wounds of some kind. Like you hurt yourself with that. I don't feel like the two are connected. The pain on the molar seems to be deferred to something else, and I can't follow the train around, but it's a nerve that's coming back here, and I do think that. Check your neck.
Okay. Elizabeth, Little Red Castle, $5 a month subscriber says, hi, Jen. This is Elizabeth. My husband, Russell, has passed. I'm sorry to hear that.
All right.
I can't find his little Derringer. Did his brother take it, or is it still in the house somewhere?
Is that a gun?
Yeah, it's a gun. Little like 1-shot or 2-shot gun. Did his brother take it, or is it in the house?
This is really a Susan Gratz question. I'm really bad at this kind of thing. If I didn't put it there, I can't tell you where it is. But I see it in like a trunk, like packed away with older things, like old cameras and.
Okay, it'll give you some place to look. Raven Mays, I put the link to the health sharing site or the ACN site where you can go and look up the impact health sharing in the description or in the chat. Cindy, Little Red Castle, $5 a month subscriber. Is this life meant for me to pay the consequences of everyone else's actions? Cindy wants to know. Seems like it.
No, this life is meant for you to rise above everyone else's actions and decide for yourself what you will tolerate and what makes sense for you now.
Okay. Allie Barker, Little Red Castle, $5 subscriber. Hi, this is Karen. I had a very bad pain in my upper abdomen yesterday. It stopped while I was on my way to the hospital, went back home and had more pain last night, but not as strong a pain. What is it? Karen would like to know what's going on.
Inflammation and gas.
Okay. It's not a kidney stone. That's the main thing. Diane.
Of course, follow up with your physician and listen to them. But from what I'm seeing, I really don't see a big.
We do not give medical advice on this show. Okay. Diane, Little Red Castle, $5 a month subscriber says, my son-in-law hasn't been able to work because of severe pain in hip from a tumor years ago. My daughter is having to pick up extra shifts. When do you see he will get relief? Is surgery needed? Wow, it'd really help if we had your son-in-law's name.
And what name do I have for her?
Diane. Asking about her son-in-law who has hip pain from a tumor from years ago.
Diane. Yeah, there's kind of a bit of scar tissue there, and there's scraping on the hard bones in there, and that's producing scar tissue. So it doesn't have full range of motion, achy. There's some kind of metal thing in there. Infusions, he says. I said, how would he get relief? Infusions.
Okay. Little Red Castle, Letitia, Little Red Castle, $5 a month subscriber says, my father Wilfred passed 2 years ago tomorrow. I'm sorry to hear that. Does he visit my mom, Jill? And does he have a message for her? They were married for 76 years. So Letitia wants to know whether Wilfred visits Jill from the afterlife.
He does visit. He visited a lot in the beginning. He does still visits occasionally. A lot of times. He chooses dreams to communicate with her on a soul level. She's not really like as coherent or observant as she used to be to see the signs, but he does check in. Yeah.
Okay. Marianne, Little Red Castle, brand new $5 a month subscriber says, my 3-year-old golden doodle Molly hasn't been acting herself for the last 24 hours. Any insight on what is wrong?
Sorry, I keep asking for the name again. I skip over to the dog and then I lose the name. So what was the name?
Marianne, and asking about her golden doodle. Where did I lose it? Molly the dog, and Marianne.
Molly's been getting into something. Or eating something in the yard. Intestinal issues.
Okay.
Like you just don't feel good. Your tummy kind of hurts. Listen to the dog's stomach. Get down there and see if you hear like this gurgling and stuff going on. This time of year, I know up here in the Northwest, like all the fruit trees that had the apples and then we did have the plums and berries. Everything's on the ground. Not. I hate to say it, but the deers come around. They're the ones that eat the fruit. But then they get in the yard and the dogs eat the droppings. Okay, gross. But it's happening. It's an instinctual thing. And then they have tummy trouble. So go take a look at the yard and see if there's anything out of the ordinary out there. She's getting into something.
Deborah, $5 Rumble Rant. Thank you, Deborah. Says, where is Brandon's 25,000 dinar? I found it in a toy box a few years ago and almost threw it out, but I put it in an office to go in a safe with my dinar. It never made it there. Any thought, Jen? Any hits at all about where Brandon's single dinar 25,000 note is?
No energetic signature. No. All I can really do is follow your track there of what you. You put it on a desk or in a desk or in a pile of stuff on a desk, and I don't know what you did with it from there.
Carissa, Jen answered your question earlier about your Aussie Shepherd. Nadine Korn, Little Red Castle, $5 month subscriber. Do you see our house in Virginia selling, or does it get taken off the market? That's Nadine's question.
I feel something coming in for a sale about 14 days.
Okay, Jen. Do you have any time for more questions, or we have to wrap up here?
I can get going.
Okay, you have to get going. All right. Well, guys, thank you. We did not get to the YouTube questions today. I apologize for that. Get over to Rumble. I mean, we just, we had so much information today. We didn't have as much question and answer time as we usually do. Jen, any other final thoughts or anything you want to leave to people? Get over to jenniferfala.com if you want a little bit more of an in-depth reading with Jen. And other than that, Jen, I mean, what do you think is going on? What do you see like rest of the week? You've given us a bunch of information.
This is all I have for this morning.
Okay.
We're going to have to put the pieces together as they fall. So right. Keep your eyes open. Yeah, that's all I got.
If you were to put a percentage on it, what would you say is the percentage that we're done? Like, how close are we? 100% means it's done and we're at our appointments. What's our percentage on how close we are to this thing happening?
87.
87. Damn, I was hoping for 98, but that's good enough. I'll take 87%. All right. Well, I just asked,
Men are always hitting me with it. Okay, in a percentage, like all the time. Women are kind of like, well, you really feel sure about that we're almost there? And I'm like, yeah, I do. And they're like, okay.
It's good enough for me.
Men are like, what percentage of almost there are we?
Yeah, what percentage of almost? That's a guy question. All right, guys, thank you for being here. We will be back on Wednesday with Tell the Truth Wednesday. Me and Jen. Should be a very interesting couple of days. I'll be on tomorrow night with Toxically Masculine Tuesday, 1 hour early. Don't forget, we're going to be live streaming. Those of us that show up are going to be live streaming the Trump-Kamala debate tomorrow night. Should be very fun to do that. And then, of course, Jen and I will be back Wednesday, and I'll do Whiskey and Wisdom and lots of other stuff. And then Friday, I'm interviewing Hollywood actor Sean Kenny, and we're going to talk about his new project and lots of other cool stuff. So thank you for being here. Appreciate each and every one of you. And you can't say we don't bring the goods on this show. We give you the truth straight up. And
first heck try.
We kick ass. All right. Thank you for being here.